This is Ken Smith reminding you it happened today, September 1st. But the year was 1773. Benjamin Franklin writes, "There never was a good war or a bad peace." 1773. It was on this day at the Battle of Brandywine in Pennsylvania. The Americans lose to the British, and a Polish soldier, Kazimierz Pulaski, saved the life of George Washington. Washington would go on to become president of the United States. Pulaski would go on and have a skyway bridge named after him. 1777. It was on this day Alexander Hamilton is appointed the first Secretary of the U.S. Treasury. 1789. W.C. Handy. He's known as the father of the blues. Publishes his most famous composition, the St. Louis Blues. 1914. It was on this day, in the year 1927, a year that will go down as the year that Babe Ruth hit his 60 home runs. On this day, he hit number 50, 1927. Franklin Delano Roosevelt dedicated Boulder Dam outside of Las Vegas. Today it's known as Hoover Dam, 1936. Charles Lindbergh, on this day, claims that the British, the Jewish, and the Roosevelt administration are trying to get the United States into World War II. Lindbergh eventually will become so disillusioned that he will move to an isolated farm in Hawaii, where he will spend his last days. 1941. On this day, construction of the Pentagon begins in Arlington County, Virginia. It will be completed January 15th, 1943, but it was begun 2 years before, 1941. It was on this day Hideki Tojo, the Japanese prime minister during World War II, attempts suicide rather than face war crimes, but he fails. Later, he will be hanged. 1945. It was on this day that the first mobile, long-distance, car-to-car telephone conversation occurred. When? 1946. Florence Chadwick will become the first woman to swim the English Channel from England to France. It takes her 16 hours and 19 minutes. 1951. It was on this day West German Chancellor Konrad Adenauer signs a reparation pact for the Jewish people. 1952. The first Miss America TV broadcast occurred on this day, 1954. Congress passed a bill authorizing for the first time food stamps for poor Americans on this day, 1959. The number one song and album on this day and for the next 9 weeks was the Beatles' Help, 1965. It was on this day Chilean President Salvador Allende is deposed in a military coup by Augusto Pinochet, 1993. It was on this day Atari presents the Atari 2600, originally known as Atari Video Computer System. It's released in the North American continent and revolutionizes the video game industry. 1977. The last known person dies of smallpox in Birmingham, England on this day, 1978. Independent counsel Ken Starr sends a report to the U.S. Congress accusing President Bill Clinton of 11 possible impeachment offenses. 1998. It was on this day Hurricane Irma leaves 7 million U.S. homes without power in Florida and Georgia, 2017. Water was detected for the first time on a planet outside of our solar system. That planet? Exoplanet K2 18b 110. Light years away. It was published in Nature Astronomy. But this is September 1, not in the past. A day as we look back of good news, bad news, confusing news. But in the end, there is always the good news that this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is Ken Smith reminding you it happened today, September 1st.